Hi YouTube, my name is Ty and I wanted to do my own TTC video for baby number 2. I found so much help and compassion and I felt so much, I felt like a sisterhood with all the women and all the videos that I watched, because when you're going through infertility or just the TTC process, it's like so draining, and it's like some days you're just like, but looking at the videos, like, you can just take a deep breath, like, because you're not the only person going through this, and that makes it a little bit easier. It's like you feel like, okay, if this happened, if that's their success story, like, then there is hope. So every video, every update, every live pregnancy test is just like the best, and like you feel so happy for that person. It's just like, it's awesome, because like a victory for you or them is a victory for me. So I just wanted to do my own video because I felt like when I was searching, I didn't see a lot on my personal issue because it's a little bit different. I don't have PCOS or fibroids or endometriosis. My thyroid is fine. My pituitary is fine. Like, every test that has been done and can be done, ultrasounds are fine. I've had an it's HSG. That's when they inject the dye into your fallopian tubes to make sure there's no blockage. And there is none in mine. My husband's sperm is fine. They're just, has just been like a really long road in getting pregnant. My TTC, if anyone wants to know for baby number 1, I will do in another video, because that can get it's a little interesting. I was on cycle 4 of Clomid, and I also had a DNC for a particularly bad bout with a menstrual cycle that just would not stop. I was admitted to the hospital for about 3 days, put on a Premarin drip, which is estrogen, to stop the bleeding, and ended up needing the DNC, and 1 month later I was pregnant with Leah. So if anyone is interested in that story, in that 2-year process, I will definitely do another video on that. So I am currently 7 months in right now on cycle 1 of Clomid, 100 milligrams. Most times when you're dealing with infertility, a doctor will have you try for a year before they do anything, any kind of medical intervention. But being that I had a history of infertility, we jumped right in, and she started me on 100 milligram Clomid. So that's 2 tablets once a day for 5 days. I started it on day 5. I am currently on day 11. And I also had to do a Provera because I hadn't had a period since March. This is currently June 3rd, 2018, and I hadn't had a period since March, so the doctor gave me Provera, which is a progesterone hormone that induces withdrawal bleeding, from what I understand, about 3 to 7 days after you stop the pills, and mine started about 5 days after I stopped the pill. And so on day 5, which was this past Monday, I started the Clomid, 2 pills a day. It sucks when you start on such a high dose, because when I was doing it for my last pregnancy, I started at 50, and then I went to 50. Then I went to 100, then I went to 150. And when it's that high, if you've done research, like, that's when you really get the symptoms. That's when you are like more at risk for multiple births and a host of other things. So I was a little, apprehensive of starting such a high dose, but being that, it took me 2 years to get her, and I'm currently already 30. I just turned 30 in January. And so, anything over 30, you start to get into the not high risk, but your eggs start to diminish. And with being in, I currently work in the medical field. I am a medical assistant. I have been for about 10 years, and I am currently working on my bachelor's in health administration. So I get kind of like an inside track. I get to bug my doctors. I don't work with infertilities doctors now, but I did up until about 2 years ago when I decided to switch fields. It's easier for me to go to school and do homework at this job, whereas before I was working in an infertility and OBGYN office, because once you do this, you do get very interested in stuff. And when I had my little one, like, it just sparked the need to know more. And so when an opportunity to work for an OBGYN office came about, I was like, yes, definitely. So I did have like a little bit more inside scoop. I can call and pick the brains of one of my doctors that, I got really cool with. I worked with some great midwives and doctors and residents, and still a lot of my medical assistants that work there. So I do go back occasionally, and I can ask questions that, normally you would have to wait, make an appointment and all that stuff, and I could pick their brain. I'm like, well, what do you think about this? Or this is happening, what do you think about that? So that aspect is really great, and can be a really big peace of mind when I don't really know, you're like a little boat without a paddle in the middle of a big ocean. So I don't hold too much hope for this cycle, just because even though I was given the Provera to start my period, it was a very, very light period. I'm about to go into TMI right here. It's very light bleeding, barely anything in the pad, and I usually use tampons, but I like to measure the amount of blood, again, TMI, that I am outputting, so I know the flow, so I can tell my doctor and everything like that. And it was just like very, 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 very light, but I still did day 1. Today, cycle day 5, I did start the Clomid. Cycle day 9, that's when you start the baby dance and, get everything going. So we did just like the doctor said, and so here's to hoping. So that's just pretty much what's going on right now. I don't know if I missed anything. Please comment and let me know if you have any questions, if you would like me to do that TTC of baby number 1, and if anybody else has any any information they can give me and help me with. I do want to say that I've gotten so much knowledge from just all the videos. I have decided to, which I had never done in the past, do the OPKs, the ovulation predictor kits. I bought 2 different kinds from Amazon, and the basal thermometer, which I just got the thermometer, so I plan to start that tomorrow. And again, I'm on cycle day 11 today, so my lines have been basically not there. They're like very, very light. So I don't know, if you don't see any lines at all, does that mean there is no LH? Or if they're really, really light, does that mean it's a negative, or is it like slightly there and it's gonna start climbing? Those are the type of things that I learned from a lot of your videos, just so if you have any more information or any questions for me, please feel free to comment and ask questions and subscribe. See you next time.